I don't know where I'm gonna put my phone for all this shit eventually, but... Bandit, you come here. Nah. You're alive now, and you must be seen.
Watch your bone, yeah.
Oh. Oh, blah, blah. Fat pool boy. Brr.
It's nice in here.
It is. Yeah, like, that's why I want to, like, get, like, some setup over there at that little, corner. Oh.
Yeah. And I have not smoked a cigarette since I've been out.
Really? Wow.
I quit.
Nice. That's good, though.
Yep, not my system. They never give me nicotine patches, but one thing says if you bother your surgery, so I want to think about to bother my surgery.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because, you know, I know that, you said they give nicotine patches, too? To kind of help you ease off the,
You don't think they're still on there.
Oh, that's good, though.
It's 24 hours. So they,
you have, like, 2 of them on there.
They gave them to me every day, and then they give me a pain patch and got back here. Then already
already kind of done that way. All right.
I don't know if they'll never work this out. Yeah. Give me a bunch of medicines.
Sup, Joe? He's arrived. Got my little daily guy popping in now, but yeah, I saw some funny videos of like North Korean marches with music dubbed over it, and I couldn't contain my laughter on because they did the Bee Gees, and I was just like, oh my lord, what the fuck? I was like, wow, and it marched perfectly with the beat. Oh, I already have bug ground in here, but yeah, I didn't even realize I had some already grounded up. Okay, but
I've done that.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't, it just overfills and you can't do anything with it. But how was I? I am doing good. Just went to a job fair and checked out some stuff that was going on at my school area.
I would have done the same thing. I mean, yeah, that's good.
So, got some promises going on that situation though. Yeah.
Wait a minute. What do you mean you told me?
Wait a minute. No, I won't wait a minute. I ain't gonna wait. I don't wait. Yeah. But I also heard that there's like with the supposed talks that are supposed to happen like May or something like that, that there was he was supposed to like have some like denuclearization going on already. And supposedly he already shut down like one reactor.
That's good.
Yeah, from what I've heard. But I have a feeling that Trump might have already messed up because he said, I saw on like a tweet or like a couple days ago where it was talking to, he was mentioning, it's like, we won't come to a talk until we denuclearize this. And it's like, isn't that the point of why you're going over there to talk, is for that? Like, now you're like, oh, now we're not going to talk with you until you do so. But it's like, that's the point of talking, is to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to just push him against the wall, you know?
He had two tweeters.
Yeah, yeah, he does. He has like the official president's page, and then he has his personal one. Yeah, I mean,
they don't need to have their nuclear weapons if they're going to send Robert to wherever they want to send them to.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't. I mean, we have like 5,000 some nukes, and I mean, Russia has also like 6,000 or something like that. Because I was reading up on like the Korean, not the Korean War, but just the Cold War,
right,
and about nukes, and I was just like, oh my lord, we have a lot of nukes. So I mean, what I just kind of hope is that we can do like some international denuclearization tactics or something like that that would help out with.
Hopefully so.
Yeah, because I mean, out of like all the weapons that we have, like nukes are quite literally like on a biblical scale of devastation. Like, you never heard, like, most people at the time when we first started like making nukes, most people heard of like a city being leveled if it was like Sodom or Gomorrah or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, but then suddenly now we got the power to do that. It's like, you know, that brings a lot of people to kind of take a step back and went, oh shit.
But I mean, killing his, you know, people over there, they just want to. Russia wants a territory because that's the oil.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they do have ties with Assad and stuff, because that's why, you know, they want to go there, is because the oil and shit. And like, with, you know, I don't know what like rare minerals and stuff are in, or like if there is any oil in Korea, because with their hermit kingdom, it doesn't seem like they do just because they're so poor, and like that their half of the Korean Peninsula is straight up
Russia
like
wants for
barren.
some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I know China has some ties with Korea, like, and if they're ever mentioned.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, 'cause-
every time that Trump
Yeah,
says
whenever-
this, they
Yeah,
say
whenever
that.
something pops up about Korea, China's normally popped into a conversation about that. And he says we can destroy them, welfare country. I mean, that's kind of what it is a little bit. Like China, I mean, it's kind of the main dudes propping them up a little bit because they kind of give them the money and funding for a lot of their military. Because a lot of their weapons are mostly Chinese based or
Right.
Chinese licensed. I mean, which are also originally like Russian, Soviet Union era licensed too, as well. And it does make sense that it's kind of like that. I mean, and I also learned a little bit last class in my geopolitics class
Right.
that the reason why North Korea or Korea is as it is now is because originally it was.
One country, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and also during the Japanese occupation is when, and then in 1945, after the Soviets started to come in for the North, and then the Americans started to go through Korea in the South, they did the 38 parallel, which is the original line, so the Japanese troops can say, okay, if you're above the 38th parallel, you surrender to the Soviets. If you're below it, you surrender to us. and that's how it originally got divided into.
Huh.
And the UN came in later to hold elections for the whole country, and and the Soviets won't let them above the 38th parallel. And after that, both parties left, but yeah, Soviet Union started to arm and fund a little bit of North Korea's military, while the South Koreans were essentially abandoned because we actually kind of upheld everything and actually pulled out entirely. Along with the UN, but the USSR still kept funneling weapons and stuff. And after that, that's how the Korean War initially started.
Really?
Was because the Soviets were arming the North Koreans so they can do their one state. Because at the time, the Koreans were like, "What's this two-state bullshit? Like, we want to have one country." And it was going to be either or. Like, both sides were considering on having a quick civil war just so one state can just,
Really?
Yeah, because to them, they didn't, to them, they just see each other as Koreans. I mean, now there's a cultural divide for sure because, you got the Hermit Kingdom with generations of people who are stuck in this land, basically an open-air concentration camp. And then the South, they're probably still more traditional in their culture than,
Right.
the North is now because North, like, they got their own religion basically with the demigod Kim Il-sung and then, his family dynasty. And then, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's like North Korea is just such a authority. Like, it's hard to just, comprehend like how they were able to hold such power like they have, even though it's just, nothing on the world scale. It's definitely quite
South Korea
interesting.
basically rebelling a little bit. Since we want this.
Yeah.
We'll blow y'all up.
I mean, and officially there hasn't been a peace treaty signed between the two countries. So to them, they're still technically at war. It's just been an arms race the entire time. So, if something happened internally between those two and it's been going on off and on for a long time, like something could probably happen with where it goes hot again. But it's gotten close a lot of times, which gladly it hasn't. I hope we can probably have the talks used to maybe get a peace treaty for them finally, and denuclearization talks and maybe some persuasions of reunification to maybe where we make it so, UN doesn't necessarily have to give up this whole thing, but they kind of get slid in as like a state would, like, in the U.S., like we have all these bunch of states, and then we kind of merge and like kind of weed out their system
Right.
for the North. But I don't know how well that would go. I mean, there's no real good way to deal with the whole Korean issue, that's for sure.
That's true.
Like, it's hard to say which way is the most peaceful because either or, like, you're gonna have people get killed and shit because, the North, there's gonna be some people who are so loyal to the Kim regime that they will rebel regardless. They will see it as just some invasion threat because they've been taught that the U.S. and the imperialist West are always the bad guys. And it's like, while there's points to to that. It's definitely not entirely true. Like, I mean, there's plenty of people in the West, including me, who are call
Don't let it blow away.
Yeah. I mean, I was making sure. I mean, the wind's kind of blowing the torch too. I'm trying to get this going. There we go. But yeah.
Still hit. What's on the other way down there though? Is it doing blow away?
Oh yeah. They ain't in the stream yet. Just checking up notifications. Yeah, but yeah, I wasn't invited to this party. Only 3,000 miles away. I know, man.
Well, the CIA, they're bungled out the FBI. I mean, you had seen somebody over there and just blow him, shit him and kill him.
Yeah, like my hope was, like, after I heard about his like stepbrother, I think, like, I don't even know what his name was, but he straight up was assassinated in like Myanmar or like Singapore or something like that, and it was by 2 North Korean spies, and my hope, because he was actually wanting to go to the Japanese Disney World, which was part of the reason why, and he had some criticisms of Kim, so that was one of the main reasons why he was assassinated. And
Dude, Kim didn't take him out?
Probably, yeah. Taking out his stepbrother, to consolidate his power, yeah. I mean, don't want to put random...
Kim's money hungry and everything wrote into one,
Yeah, I mean, cause my hope was that maybe he could be kind of like a mediator in, like, fixing the situation on that, or in some way, because he was pretty open towards the West, he was. And he was also supposed to be the next heir, too, so I don't know who's the next heir after Un, but it's not going to be him now, that's for sure. But, yeah. Oh my god, the wind. One thing about outside is that the wind will just blow the weed. And it's been exceptionally windy, like, all week so far.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I did a stream, like, Sunday, I think. And then, I was out here, and it was the same way. It was just very windy. And I was mainly talking about just, like, out here and just some other random bullshit.
Cool.
Yeah. Like, one thing I want to do out here is get, like, one of those tables, and then just like some chairs, and maybe like a little fire pit that we can have too, because over there is perfect for like a little spot like that. Even over there too, to some extent, with that porch, but that needs a lot more work than over here. So
do you know the government is fixing to decriminalize marijuana?
Yeah, that's what I've been. Yeah, I mean, I saw a segment on Fox News from Kyle Kulinski today, where there was for Fox News hosts were straight up debating marijuana, like as a 50-50 type of thing. Like one dude, Greg, I think his name was, he was just like the pro marijuana dude the entire time. Just talk about just the basic facts of just like, if you, like one of his points was if you make it illegal to teens like me and stuff, they're going to see it as taboo and they're going to rebel towards taboo things more. So if you make it more like a mundane, just whatever type of situation, most people aren't going to, care that much. And another thing was prohibition of alcohol. And like when we made alcohol legal, the mafia grew tremendously out of that. And then there was batches of alcohol that were bad, that would actually kill people and shit. I mean, he kind of opened up the debate for just drugs in general, but he never talked about that. It was just strictly marijuana on their debate. But, yes?
I'm going to want to do the floors in here in the living room.
Okay.
But I was kind of hoping you could sweep it and then I can mop it.
Okay.
But anyway, so,
yeah, I mean, yeah, and, what did he say there?
If we're legalizing marijuana?
He was basically just, definitely medicinally for sure, but it sounded like it was just definitely talking about recreational marijuana as well.
Oh, medical will have to go first.
Well, yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, if we can at least get the medical part, then more people are going to realize the pros of it and then realize it's not a big deal, at least to states where it's still very heavily criminalized, like
Right.
in the South mainly, because
Yeah.
with the
What
whole
should we
drug
do?
war and stuff, which is pretty ridiculous in its own right.
Because Canada's going to totally legalize weed in June.
Yeah, Canada is going to do it on their Independence Day too. That's when
Yeah.
they're going to do all of it. So it's going to be like a super combo on that situation.
So if Canada legalizes it, it's totally in.
Yeah, like if Canada federally legalizes it, and then they get their whole situation going like that, then
Because they realize it's basically medical and helping these people.
Well, yeah,
and then any other way, and so, but they couldn't get that.
and also they're seeing the benefits of Colorado, Washington, and California to some extent now, and Oregon, stuff like that. They're starting to see that it's no big deal and that it's benefiting these states that are legalized now. So
True too.
yeah, and
It calms me down. I took a couple of pubs here and there.
Right.
Calms me down and
yeah, and also I mean it helps me with like my I have like stomach issues where I mean it's not like bad, but
Right.
whenever I wake up, I just have really bad stomach aches, and it's just
what are
like,
you doing over there?
what is going on?
I don't know. Oh, Henry.
Oh my God, it's
Who's
Henry.
that guy that actually shows up at the fence on Home Improvement? You always see his eyes. That's it.
Or his mouth and not his eyes. What was his name? It's not
Trivia
Al.
question.
It's not Al. It's what's his face?
I don't know, but
I don't know either.
That
Yeah,
reminded me of him a
it's
while
like
ago.
yeah, it's like the one.
Popping up like
It's
this.
one of the few things good about the Home
I
Improvement
keep
show.
thinking Wilson, but that's Dennis the Menace or something.
Yeah, Wilson. I think it. No, it could be Wilson. I think it's Wilson.
Wilson's on what show?
Because it was supposed to be.
Dennis the Menace, it might be Wilson.
I think it was because it was
Not
based
Dennis-
off of
not-
Kilroy.
Not Wilson. The one that just shows his eyes
Yeah.
over the fence.
Yeah, because I think he's supposed to mimic Kilroy. You know, like Kilroy was here. Like a lot of U.S. troops would, in wartime, would use that as like a symbol, as like, hey, troops are here. At least for paratroopers in World War II, that was their way of communicating. But yeah, I don't know his name. Shit.
Anyway,
I just mainly know of Home Improvement due to Al, the other dude, and Tim Allen's infamous grunts of just
But I said 5 years to be legalized. I think it's going to be 2, 3. It's being sooner. It's
Yeah,
sooner
like-
than that.
yeah. I mean, if I'll actually be quite surprised if that comes into fruition though, for sure. Because I mean, I never really expected in this administration at least. But if so, then I'll be all right. Cool.
Because
I mean,
the judge went in front and says, when you legalize marijuana, they got it in the works. So
yeah. I mean, it sounds like they are talking about it, and that sounds great
the
too. I
question
mean,
is, do the prisoners out that actually maybe had marijuana offenses against them?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of pushback from like the pharma industry and the alcohol industry to some extent,
Well,
and
the pharmacy industry, of course.
yeah,
Because
that basically said, to them marijuana is a competition because their main thing is giving pills out to people, and that's
Right, yeah.
that's basically what's caused this major opioid crisis, and then when people get hooked on them.
It's okay with them. I paid
Yeah,
them.
and then- yeah.
You get hooked on
Yeah, and
hooked
also
on
the
us.
then tied in with that, the insurance industry will also be against it because they just want to keep people hooked on the pills. So they certain surgeries they need like
Right,
you
yeah.
need right now, they just will either drag on the approval or just not approve at all. Just say it's no big deal. Yeah,
Oh.
I mean that's which is a major problem with the insurance industry and the pharma industry too. I mean, because they just ties in with just them making more money in the end, which is why this whole the healthcare system here is just so terrible. It's just because there's no guaranteed.
It's the best one anywhere in the United States, anywhere in the world.
Well, I mean, when you got
Give me Britain, give me England.
well, with the National Health Service, I mean, because they
England-
guaranteed, it's guaranteed healthcare for everybody. I mean, a single payer system is the best.
But if you die, you die.
Well,
They don't
I mean,
care.
no one's gonna.
They don't care.
Well, no one cares
they
here.
They don't have the surgeons or
The
anything
healthcare
else
here
that we
don't
have,
care.
that we have over there.
I mean, what matters for the pharmacy here is the size of your wallet, not by your need. So
No, pharmacy maybe, but no, not the doctors or anything else.
well, no, not over there. There hasn't been any like I don't like what. Like
I don't
what you're
discuss
talking
that.
about, I hear a lot more here than anywhere else.
Of
Like,
course you would.
because whenever I hear about the healthcare systems there, I hear about them more saving lives or
But
more than else.
You would hear about the Belgians because that's news.
Yeah, and the news is important with that, and the way our healthcare system is right now is definitely very flawed and needs to get fixed up to
In what
where
way?
we get.
That
To where
everybody receives it.
Well, yeah, because that's the
How
common
do-
sense.
No, that don't make common sense.
Yeah.
How do you pay a doctor?
Well,
How do you run the hospital?
with
Free?
with universal health care, that goes via the taxes, and
Then basically they heavily taxed too.
yeah, by a little bit. I mean,
Not a
considering,
little bit.
yeah, because it costs only 17 trillion compared to like 33 or 34. I forgot the exact trillion right now. Like our healthcare system costs way more than universal healthcare system right now.
It's my turn.
Okay.
The doctors, in other words, what you're saying is that basically, and don't get mad at me or anything else, we're debating this, we're going to a different subject.
Well, yeah, we are debating this right now. Yeah.
So, what you're saying is actually the doctors should give it free? How do we give it free? Everything's free.
Well, it's not free.
How do we support the doctors? How do we support the nurses? How do you
Through the
support-
nurses union, through the doctors union, so they make sure
How
they
do
have.
they get the money to pay these people?
Well, I'm not an economist on this issue.
No. What do you think?
Well, I didn't expect to go into healthcare debate right now, but I mean,
You want to get marijuana?
what?
Wait, we can go back to marijuana.
I mean, that works. I mean, but yeah, I mean, like I have to like link you some things because I mean it's like I'm keep getting so much information like popping through my head to try to say, but I can't like say it all.
Well, send it to me.
Yeah, I mean-
not only my surgery, and, you know, but that'd be nice to have everything free.
Well, I mean,
But
it's not.
How do they pay the doctors?
Well, I mean, you know how the federal budget works, right? And how we have like education spending, healthcare spending, like infrastructure spending and stuff like that. It will go through that, where we.
So the doctors would get less money.
No, I mean, that's where the union part comes
That's
in. So they
perfect.
ensure that
Yeah.
they get
Don't have lots
proper
of
wages
back
and
and
then the
forth.
proper living condition for their work.
And I
What's
can see
perfect?
if there's something bigger, but
No, that's
you
perfect.
don't want to slide off.
Oh, definitely.
Because it is. what
So I
it
don't
is.
know. I do agree with it would be nice. But I don't see the concept.
Well, because I mean, my stoned 20-year-old immature, impulsive ass ain't going to be able to explain it correctly. I mean, you have to I mean, I just mainly listen to.
I get charged a cup paper $35. You tell me to go to whatever. That my I get charged everything I go. That'd be nice.
I mean,
but still.
a lot. I mean, there's just a lot of unnecessary costs with it. Like, I mean, we have to like pay for everything just so go visit up there to check in for appointment. The ambulance ride bills. I mean, that's
you know
a
what
thing.
it is though.
I mean,
Used to be doctors would actually treat them patients.
well, yeah.
Okay, but now the first doctor is your primary doctor. He actually figures out what's wrong with you and sends you to another doctor. That doctor sends you to another doctor.
Yeah, and it's just a whole.
It's a damn
line-
chain.
Yeah, it's a whole big chain, and the whole point of universal healthcare system.
Needs to be changed.
Yeah, and the
But
whole
it-
point of a universal healthcare system is try to get rid of all these unnecessary middle ground people who are essentially, screwing a lot of Americans over because around 30 to 45,000 people do die because of a lack of healthcare because they can't get to it because of just how shitty and how we have to keep going through all these people to
Okay, let me explain
fix the
this.
situation.
Let me explain what I went through. Basically, back in early January, Remember I was having back
Yeah.
pain and everything else?
Yeah.
And I went to my doctor, and my doctor says, "Oh, here's a couple of days of Oxy, and here's exercise you can do."
Yeah, and
It's so the next thing they sent me to another one, and they did a CT scan, didn't find anything. So they give you each time I send somebody, it's $35. So yeah, they need to correct that. I totally agree.
yeah, and
But back in the day, even when Ruby went to the
Yeah, and
did one doctor that knew what
yeah,
they were
and
doing.
because a lot of times these doctors do generally get paid off by these. Not all of them, of course. I mean, there's a lot of great doctors. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know, our local
definitely.
Providence, local hospital in Providence has a lot of. You know, I
But
don't.
your first in command, the one that I say my primary doctor is not a doctor anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's a DO.
Yeah,
But actually, he's a doctor that looks at you. Oh, you need to go to this other doctor. You need to go to a neurologist. Okay. So then there are urologists, and everybody has their own
yeah.
set of things they do.
yeah. They all have their specifications. Yeah,
So,
and
I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's far more complicated than like what we're able to like discuss with it. But I mean, there's a lot of major things that are able to be, you know, solved with just some more, maybe not like common sense, just but more simplistic regulations that are not going to have any loopholes, so these industries can mess with people's healthcare, because
They do,
that's the main. Yeah, because that's you know, that should be healthcare should just be human right. Because if you break your arm, that ain't your fault. You just you know, like, I mean,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to, you know, like, pay such a massive expenses just because you broke your arm or you got cancer or something you can't control.
Right,
And
yeah, definitely.
yeah, you know, so I'm not like, you know, I'm not against like a private system of healthcare. It's just that
They need to change it or something.
yeah, like there needs to be at least a public option to where you know, there is like a universal healthcare system, but then there's also just a private thing on top of that as well. Like, I mean, there's a lot, because I know with France at least they have that, and they also have a private system on top of that where if you want something extra or whatever,
Right.
you're totally free to do that, and plus whatever the expenses for that is. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, every country does it a little differently, because I think with Britain they do it via taxpayers, and then the NHS bargains with the insurance companies. Yeah, and they bargain with the NHS, and then the NHS bargains with the pharma industry on their medicines. Yeah, and then that's how they do it. I think, at least. It's one of those countries.
The NHS got to change something, because, like I said,
Yeah.
they should have cut it. They should have caught it long before they did.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, that's
And
yeah,
they
and that's
went
the
for
thing.
you and get me-
Yeah, and that's the
get me in
thing.
the
They will.
house.
Yeah, that's the thing, because they will say, "Oh, you don't have a very serious problem. Here's just some medication, do it," and then, you know, you're kind of stuck taking these prescriptions, and then the problem will just only get worse a little bit. Because
I mean, I went to
yeah,
the ER got in trouble.
really,
Yeah, I think the ER got in trouble because they kept. I've been there twice.
yeah,
Same
twice
situation.
twice already with a similar situation, and they they didn't give you the proper diagnosis of it. Yeah. And yeah, and that's where the scrupulous doctors come in, because that's what happened there. It's like you know, the doctor was just not being honest with how he was diagnosing you. Like, either he just
He
was
didn't care whether you get
like,
money or whatever. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, and that's one of the major problems with it. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, like, there's if I could pull up something to kind of support the argument with, that I'm trying to make, but
Being free. Yep. Yeah.
well, I mean, it's not like I'm not trying to say free, because it's not free. I mean, nothing is really free. I mean, everyone. Yeah, I mean, I wish. Yeah, but I mean, that's definitely not the case. I mean, because it's just like how you pay for it and who should. And with a lot of just, medical problems that most people can't control, or, just happen because of just certain lifestyles, then yeah, then that's not of your consequence. So why should you have to pay for that? Like, I mean, with mom's cancer and shit, and then with your back situation, I mean, a lot of that isn't your fault really. I mean, so it's just like, why do you have
too much weed? I don't know.
I mean, if anything, that's probably been helping you, yeah. But yeah, it's
what upsets me is I can't go through all them channels to get to where I'm at.
Yeah, and we shouldn't have to be going for all those channels. Like, if I had a really bad back problem like that, I don't want to, go for all these channels and shit just so I, get my back better and stuff. I want it, I want them to just diagnose me, tell me what I need to do, and then I go through that process and get it done. That's how it should be. And in a lot of places, like Canada and stuff like that, they do have where that is the case, but it's just how we have a lot of places, a lot of this country bases your healthcare on the size of your wallet, not by the need. Because we do have advanced help.
You need help?
You good over there? Well, I hope she's fine. She sounds fine now. But I mean, it's because we do have a very advanced healthcare system. It's just that
they did look at.
Yeah, it's just that.
And actually, now the very first thing they did, in big letters,
yeah,
and bigger than anything else, marijuana user.
That was the big bold thing out of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, and and with Oregon, I mean, I wonder how much of an impact that really makes, because
really, I don't know.
Because or at least with these states that are legalized already, because if that's
I just thought it was weird.
Yeah, because I mean, that is a little weird. I mean, I don't know if that's just stating that you are, but
well, I am.
Well, yeah, but if it's just big in bowls, compared with everything else, then that does sound a little off. Because
that is weird.
In a way, they'll. I mean, I don't know if they've mentioned, like, oh, you probably shouldn't be taking this because, it's just better to do that or whatever. I don't know if they said that or at all or anything, but, yeah, I did see an article, I did a stream of it, too.
Maybe basically when you're diagnosing you that they need to know what...
Well, yeah, they do need to know, like, if you are or not, because I was reading an article where OHSU doctors, I did a stream of this, too, and when I was reading this article, and two OHSU doctors actually made basically like a little document, explaining marijuana, and then they're giving it out to other doctors. So it's not just, oh, you're a marijuana user.
It might have been because it was the last doctor, so this one actually kept finding what was wrong with me. But so I think probably there's something that in this, in the what's in marijuana that.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
there's something in there. I mean, there's
like
just because THC and
CBD, and all the cannabinoids and all that, cannabinols and everything.
Maybe it's something they need to know, or maybe it's something they found out.
I mean,
they're finding out something every day.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, medical science is very, it's very advanced, especially with OHSU. I mean, they're whenever science advancements happen.
Go see Mom.
Yeah, usually that's what is the case at OHSU is like one of the top contributors.
1 second, Mom. He's coming.
I'll be right back, my friend. Did you mention any comment recently? Alright. Saw your comment. I'll read it in a sec.
Oh, sorry. Oh, fuck. I bet I'll let my phone in. She didn't really text me.
Come here, fat boy. You have been requested by me.
Oh, there it is. Be careful.
I nearly fell off my ass.
Hey, grab that phone for me, please. I was wondering where it was. I thought it was
losing your phone.
Yeah, I did. Big brick.
Alright, what? I think that comment said what it said. If we had 2 less wards, we could pay for it. That's what he said. And probably talking about the healthcare thing from before, and yeah, I mean, and that's just another thing. It's like we spend so much fucking money on these wars. It's insane.
It's only people make money though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that is true. I mean,
They wanna make war,
yeah, the MIC, the freaking Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, like all these industries just freaking make so much money off of just the endless suffering of just people in the wars that we're in. And if not, then they're selling arms to people who are also doing their own, you know, freaking war. Yeah. Like with Saudi Arabia and how they're like genociding Yemen, basically. Like there's cholera outbreaks when normally there isn't any cholera outbreaks at all. Like that was normally an issue already solved, and yeah, and that's already happened in there in Yemen, and like that's a whole proxy war going on with Saudi Arabia and Iran is Yemen, and it's just. And like they're, you know, what did like the people of Yemen ever do to deserve such a freaking?
Really?
Yeah, you know. Besides, yeah, because like there's the Houthi government, which I think is backed by Iran, and then it's the rebels, which is like Al Qaeda, and then other Sunni Islamists being funded by Saudi Arabia, and then they are also participating in the war themselves, just straight just. Going in civil war in Yemen, and we're giving arms to Saudi Arabia, and they're using them. And because there has been bombs found that were either like exploded and found the shrapnel of it, or and stuff that say it was like made in just some random state in the U.S. or whatever. Because like there was a bill, I forgot what it was called but it was done a while back where I think it was either for a specific company or just a variety of different industries where like parts of their equipment are made in all 50 states. So like the fuselage tank will be made in like Michigan or some shit, and then like the arms like weapon systems are made in like Washington, and then like the engines are made in like Florida and some shit. Like all these random parts are made all over different parts of the country, which is part of the reason why they have such a strong grip, because at that point you need to buy every politician and have them be pro-war at that point, which it seems like that's the case besides just a few, very few select politicians being anti-war, which is only like, I think I can only count that on like my one hand. I mean, I know Ro Khanna's a very major he's a congressman. He's been very staunch anti-war and just been calling that out. Tulsi Gabbard's another one. Bernie Sanders, to some extent, it has been too, but not as much as I wish he would. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely very crazy how just this whole government's practically just been built up by and propped up by war now for like the last 20 years. I mean, I know. Like the last congressionally approved war was Iraq, and that was in 2003, and we've just been adding on countries to that list, so we don't have to just congressionally approve everything. So, I mean, that's just crazy. This fat cat is just such a flopsy. He's a flopsy cat. Just a fat flop boy. Probably gonna wrap it up in like 10 minutes and do my obligatory chores of the house. Look at this cat. This cat sits weird. Look how he's sitting. He's got his paw just flopped out like this, dude. What do you do with that?
I don't know.
What do you do with this? And I can mess with it too, and he just doesn't care. Oh shit, there's another cat around.
Your cat's out here.
My cat is out here?
Oh, sure.
I heard Cleo was, but I don't think mine. If mine is out here, I'm gonna go on the hunt.
Oh, it's mine.
Just this paw just sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah. I think at some point I'm probably gonna like go on like some fat walk somewhere and like do a stream in the middle of like the Johnson Creek Park or something like that with my friend.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's just so many places where it's just like its own like little mini sanctuary you can just like chill out at. It's great. Oh, my flame goes dying out because of the wind. Because of the wind.
Where are you doing your streams at? YouTube?
Yeah. just straight up on YouTube, and
just tell
yeah, and I can now I have one dude who watches me
Tell me-
every afternoon usually.
Yeah. Tell me when, text me next thing, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, because, one dude's watching right now. I have another guy who usually shows up later at night, who nicknames himself Carl Rove.
You want to get back in rehab.
Right, yeah. Can this cat get fatter, dude? Look at him.
I think so.
He almost, like, takes over my entire lap. Like, oh, shit. Like, by almost, man. He's just so fat. He takes up my space. I'm both smoking his face after this. He did nothing to that. He was unfazed. Unfazed. Good lord.
Most calmest kid I've ever seen.
I know. Look at him. He's in bliss. He's just in pure bliss. Ironic. Well, I don't know what else much to talk about. Thinking of what I heard recently. I mean, yeah, not too much. I'll probably do one later tonight and see what's on the news. Oh, I did hear George Bush, the senior, was in extensive care.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like supposedly, like I heard he died, but I looked it up and he's just in intensive care, not dead. But I mean,
So what do you think about this lady that killed her kids?
who killed her kid?
Yeah, she actually drove off a cliff and killed her kids.
Was this today? Because I didn't hear about this yet. Oh shit!
In Florida, yes. You didn't hear
In
about
Florida?
this? She is from Portland.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh my lord!
She is a foster mom.
Oh shit! Wow, I really didn't hear about this.
She's drinking. She gave her kids medicine. That way she went fitted, and she drove off the cliff.
Oh my lord! Only in Florida, but
the only thing is, they knew about her. She knows she was abusing the kids and everything else.
Oh my lord! Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody's drunk involved.
yeah, I mean, you hear about the recent shooter who was like naked at a Waffle House.
Oh yeah, I heard about
and then
that.
and then a dude straight up like went full hero mode and just went and straight took the gun from him and he was grazed in the elbow too. He has a picture of it and I think even later that day he went with his aunt to church too after that. It's like, oh my god, this guy, just like, he's in the hospital for just like a little bit, just to treat just a graze wound.
Right, yeah.
It looked pretty gnarly, but I mean, it looked like a very bad scrape you get at like the skate park or something. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But he straight up just like went to church. Like, I'm like, oh my, this guy balling, man. He's gonna hook up with some girls in there tonight or something. I mean, they're like he's gonna be the talk of town for a while. But but the dude who did the shooting, like his guns was confiscated because he was kind of insane, and then they gave the guns to his dad, and his dad gave it back to him. So, yeah, at the same time, like, his dad's at fault for this, too. And it's just like, which is why, we definitely need better regulations with certain firearms so people like that don't get, who have these problems, don't get weapons and shit, and also, serious convicts and criminals, too, and just, just certain people, I'm not, like, for banning anything. Like, if anything, I want, like, a hierarchy license system. So you have, like, a safety permit. You got, like, the hunting's license, the sports license, like, or a collector's license, something like that, Just, I'm, just, like, top of my head, that's, like, what I came up with.
Get your license, you buy anything you want.
Yeah, like, if you have a collector's license, you go through, like, a far longer process than you would, like, with a hunting license. Because, I mean, with that, you're, going to go hunting for the most part and stuff. But if you have, like, the collector's license, like, because there are people who collect, like, military-grade stuff from, like, World War II and stuff, which I think is cool. Like, I'm kind of, if I could, I'd do it, too. I mean, because it's cool to have, like, some piece of history like that. And I'm just kind of, and in a way, I'm definitely a gun enthusiast in that sense, for sure. So, I'm definitely not in favor of banning anything. I mean,
No, but no,
yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are saying they want to ban like the AR-15, but I'm just like, I mean, if you, like there was even this Fox News poll. It's probably about a month old now. That said like just 5 things on gun control basically, and one was mental background and criminal background checks, which was at like 90-some%. Like, and then one of them was like have security guards at schools and stuff like that, which was at like 60-some%.
Right.
And then they had something else on there too, and then like one other thing. And they were all very positive. But I was looking at that, I'm like, if you do just 3 of those things, you might not even need to do like the other 2, which is like ban AR assault weapons, which was another one, which was more contested at like 60-some%. But oh, our other kitty over here. That's our other cat right there. But I mean, like, cause I think if you have like strict regulatory rules on like criminal and mental checkups and safety permits and stuff like that, I don't think you would need to really ban anything. Cause then, well, Bandit's about to have his fun time. Go get him, boy. Go get him. Have fun. It's outside. I don't care that much. Look at all this fur, dude. Jeez.
Yeah. Yep. Sure shouldn't.
Yeah, look at that. But yeah, I mean, so I'm definitely more moderate than a lot of people would probably be right now in the public sphere for guns. But I'm definitely not like staunchly against anything like that. Because I mean, even in the Second Amendment it says to keep you have the right to bear arms and a regulated militia and necessary to a free state, essentially. So with a well-regulated militia, they're at least implying with regulatory militia, but that I would also assume that should go along with just who would get those too, because just I mean, even now, I mean, the interpretation of it could be changed up a little bit, but not like I think there could be at least an amended article on there, like we've done with other amendments, where it kind of emphasizes on that more, but not really banning anything. Because I mean, like I've only heard that a couple times, at least with the March of Our Lives movement and stuff, but and if it is mentioned, it's mainly just like the AR-15 and assault weapons, but. My main critique with that is what's considered an assault weapon, because anything can be used to assault somebody with. Like a pistol can be an assault weapon, technically.
The problem is, though, is publicity. They basically, something right when it happens. Back in the Wild Wild West, basically, everybody's shooting everybody.
Yeah, I mean...
And basically, everybody, so
yeah, I mean...
It's the news.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and, like, just... I mean, at least, I mean, yeah, and like at least what I'm at least glad is that there's at least a debate about it, like, because I think it's okay to definitely have a debate with that for sure. So like my main thing is just be wary of the extremes of both sides, and if you just make your argument with it just simple and and just specific on what it is, like I was mentioning, then most people will probably just agree with that. And
also have Clyde Lewis and one in America.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so
I don't watch,
yeah,
it forever.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
something's coming down. Some not like it was. I wish it was.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things going on in the world where, something is going to go down. It's just like, what is it? And
when? Yeah,
I mean, it might not even necessarily be bad. Maybe something's going down that could be positive.
It is true.
Yeah, definitely. That's the whole big thing on that. It's like, who knows? Like the worst case scenario, like a World War III or some shit, or can happen. And maybe best case scenario is we deter from that, and something happens where we start at ending wars and shit, and some more progressive ideas start pushing out for the world. So
it's getting chilly out here.
Yeah, a little bit. Not too bad though. It's quite nice.
Still nice. Tomorrow's gonna be hot.
Oh yeah, I heard. But I'll be at school all day that day. But I think it's probably a good time to end the stream too.
Well, peace out, man.
Yeah. All right, peace out, my Joe boy. And finger of death is not gonna be in that corner. It's gonna be over here. So.
Good job.
All right. Oh no, not the finger of death. Yes, the finger of death.